Welcome everyone, and we're gonna build a Ferris wheel today. This is for Project Ferris Wheel, and let's get started. Uh, for those of you who don't know what a Ferris wheel is, let's look for a Ferris wheel. So these are Ferris wheels, and you've probably seen them at um, different places, and at rodeos or amusement parks. And this is something that me personally I associate with good memories or joyful memories. So, just a reminder for the assignment, you don't have to make a Ferris wheel. What you can make is something or anything that brings you joy. I had one student make a car because to her, cars bring her joy. She probably likes speeding down the highway or something like that. I had another student just make flowers because flowers give her joy. So you do not have to do the Ferris wheel. I'm just gonna demonstrate how to do it because it might give you an idea how to make your whatever gives you joy. So let's change the view a little bit. This is the work plane, and what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go to edit grid. Make sure that instead of millimeters, you click it and it's inches. Because a lot of what the project is, the units of measurements of the project or what we use is inches. And then click update grid. All right, so a Ferris wheel is comprised of, like, to me, three basic shapes. So one basic shape is the wheel. The other shape is what I call the caboose, which is the little carts. And the third part is the stand. So how it stands. So that triangle component right there. Let's start with the wheel. We're gonna go to basic shapes over here and we're gonna scroll down and we'll see something that says tube. So click on the tube and then click somewhere on the work plane. And we're gonna change the dimensions over here. The radius, let it be I think 2.5. Oh, nice. Let's make this. We're gonna change this to 50. So sides in 3D modeling, circles are like infinite polygons. You know how like a polygon, yeah, like a polygon has these rigid sides, like, so this one has like 6 sides. So a circle is kind of like a polygon, but instead of 6 sides, it has like a lot more sides to it. So it could be that circular shape. And that happens in all 3D modeling programs. It's not perfectly round, it's just a bunch of sides that make it seem smooth. So what we did was kind of smooth it out. Because if we decrease the sides, you see how it becomes like more like a polygon. So we're gonna just increase it to 50. All right, we have our side, and now we're gonna decrease it a little bit, like decrease the thickness of it. So let's click the middle box. Let's make it 0.125. Let's click enter. We're gonna move this, we're gonna minimize this by clicking this. Okay. And with wheels, they have something called spokes. So those lines that go outwards. So we're gonna come up here, we're gonna get a box shape, click it, and click somewhere here on the work plane. And we're gonna change the dimension real quick. Let's zoom out. Instead of 1, it's 4.8 wide. And then we're gonna change this dimension over here to 0.125. Enter. And we're gonna change the thickness here, instead of 1 to 1.125. So 0.125, and then hit enter. Okay. So let's click this shape right here. Let's duplicate it. So once you click duplicate, like click on the modified box shape and move it away. Now we're gonna click duplicate again and duplicate one more time. So we should have 4 of these newly made box shapes. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna like move them around and align them. So we're gonna click this circular shape, and we're gonna click the shift key on the keyboard. Keyboard images. I need one good image of a keyboard. Okay, so the shift key. You're gonna click and hold it, and then click one of your red shapes. So click that one, and then you're gonna click align. And then you're gonna click the center black dot and the center black dot. Okay? And what we're gonna do is click on these shapes and move them. Move them. And move them. All right. And what we're gonna do really quickly is click this shape right here. Click and hold the shift key on your keyboard. Then click this circular shape. Click the shape. Click the shape and then shift, hold. I'm trying to select both shapes. Okay, so make sure to select both shapes and then click group. And we're gonna move this over. We're gonna get another one. We're gonna click it, click the shift key. But wait, before we do that, we're gonna rotate this one. So let's move it over here. Let's click the half arrows and type 90. Nice. And what we're gonna do is click the shape. You see that blue highlight around it? That means your shape is selected. Hit the shift key on your keyboard and select the other shape, and then hit align. Hit the center black dot and the center black dot. Now they're perfect. You have a perfect cross. Create a box. So click away from your circular shape with the two boxes in the inside, and then make sure that it's inside that red box shape that I just created. Let go. That means all the shapes inside that red box are selected. Then click group. Now we're gonna get another shape. We're gonna move it. Look, so click it and then drag it. So click, hold, drag. Click, hold, drag. And now we're gonna rotate the shape so that half circle with the little arrows, you're gonna click it, and let's zoom out a little bit. So to zoom out, you could also use the zoom keys. So click it, and instead of 90, we're going to type in 45. So we have like this hash. Well, not a hash. It's like 45-degree angle. So click on this shape right here. Then click the shift key on your keyboard. Click both shapes, making sure you hold and the shift key on your keyboard. Make sure both shapes are selected. You see the blue outline. And we're gonna click align again and hit center, the center black dot, and the center black dot. Nice. So we have one more to go. But before we have one more to go, we're gonna click and create a red box around the shapes. So everything's selected, and then you're gonna group it together. All right. So click this shape, click the half circles again, and here type the negative or the minus sign by the 0 on your keyboard, and then click 45, and then click enter. So you have your another like negative 45-degree angle shape. So you're gonna click it, click shift, and click this shape. Make sure both shapes have the blue highlight around them. And then you're gonna click align again, and you're gonna align it center and align it center. So you have part of your wheel. It's looking good. All right, click away. Create a box around your shapes. And click group. Okay, so now that we have this shape down, let's zoom in. Let's click on it. Let's move it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna click copy and paste. And we're gonna move it to the side for a little bit. And we're gonna rotate one of the wheels. Let's click this one. Let's click the half circles, and we're gonna rotate it. So go to the 0 and click 45. Did I move anything? No, I didn't move anything. Did I move something? I don't think I moved something. Undo? No, it looks like I didn't do anything. Okay, so instead of 45, click 22.5. Okay, so now you'll notice that one shape looks different than the other shape. Like one wheel is different than the other wheel. So what we're gonna do is click this wheel, click the shift key on your keyboard, click the other wheel, and we're gonna align them. So click the align and align it center and center. Click away, then click a box and make a box around them, and then group them. So check it out. You made a wheel. You made a wheel like the Ferris wheels. And what we can do is click this shape and then click copy and paste. So you have the front of the wheel. Oh, sorry. Control Z to undo an action, or click undo. So you have the front of your Ferris wheel and the back of your Ferris wheel. So good job, guys, on completing the wheel parts. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna move these away for a little bit. Like, let's put them over here and put that one over there. And what we're gonna do is hide them so we can work on the caboose. So the little cabooses, the little carts for our Ferris wheel. So we're gonna click on one, make sure to click on one, and then go over here to the dim light bulb where it says hide. And and we're gonna hide it. And we're gonna click on this one and we're gonna hide it again. So now we should see nothing. And what I like to do whenever I 3D model or make something is I use something called a reference image. So you find a picture of a caboose that you like and you try to create a model based off of the image. It doesn't have to be perfectly like the model, but it does guide you into how you would like to make your model. So that's just the tip. All right, let's go over here to basic shapes. We're gonna click a polygon and we're gonna put it somewhere here on the work plane. Let's zoom in a bit. And then we're gonna get a box shape. But we're gonna click on this, the grayed out box shape, not the red box shape, this shape. And then we're gonna put it on the work plane too. So now that we have these two shapes, what I want you to do is let's take a look at this. And we're gonna kind of cut this polygon shape in half. So let's minimize this. So what I'm gonna do is click on this box shape, click the shift key on your keyboard, and then click align. And I'm gonna click this left hand center black dot. And I'm gonna click this. And I'm gonna click this half box shape, this box shape, and then click the arrow keys on my keyboard and kinda cut it. Like, make sure half of it covers half of the polygon shape. That's what I want done. So you could either move it manually or nudge it into place. And if you're having trouble, make sure to have both items selected and you click the align. There you go. So you don't have to struggle. And then what I want you to do is click the half polygon shape and click the box shape. Make sure they're both selected. There's a blue highlight around both of them and you group them together. So now you have half of the polygon cut. We're gonna get a box shape and put it somewhere close to the polygon shape. And I'm just gonna change the view using the view cube. Zoom out. I'm gonna click this. And I'm gonna change the dimensions of this box to where it is 0.75. And it's 1 inch. And I'm gonna change this, the radius, from 0 to 0.25. So what that does is it makes the corners softer, rounder, I mean. So it doesn't have an edge to it. And what I want to do is kind of move this closer to my polygon shape. And so what I'm trying to make is like the top part of a caboose and the bottom part. All right, I'm gonna click, make sure that the top part, the half polygon, is selected, then hit the shift key on the bottom part of the red shape, click align, make sure you click the center to make it perfectly center so it looks straight. Now we're gonna click on a whole box, click somewhere here. Let's change the radius of this box to be, instead of 0.1, and we're gonna minimize it a little bit. Let's change the dimensions to 625, and enter, and this to 0.4. Okay, let's move this into our red box shape, and what we're going to do is make sure that this is selected. There's a highlight around it. You hit the shift key on your keyboard, hit the red shape, and then click align. You're going to click the center black dot. Now make it perfectly center of each other, and then you're gonna I want you to move it downwards, but you notice how it kind of snaps to a dimension? We could change that by going to snap grid and clicking 1/64 inch. So then, let's undo that, so that when I move it, I have more freedom to move it. Okay, so let's click the whole shape, hit the shift key, click on the caboose, and then click the align, and then click the center black dot. Let's look at it from a different angle. Let's use the view cube, and I want this whole shape to be thicker, so I'm gonna increase it just slightly. And now what I want is to click on the whole shape, hit the shift key, click the red shape, and now group them together. And let's look at it from the top. So you should have like a hole in your red shape. Doing good, guys. What we're gonna do is kind of move this up a little bit using the up arrow key on your keyboard. So the arrow keys. So move it up. We're gonna get another box shape and click it onto the work plane. Click on one of the white boxes. We're gonna change the dimension to be 0.05. And instead of 1 inch, it's 0.75. And what we've created is like one side. And let's change the thickness to, instead of, let's zoom out a little bit. Instead of 1, let's click 0.5. And what we're gonna do, let's look at it from a different angle. We're gonna click on this black cone that when I hover over it, it turns red. And click and hold it, and then pull it up to where it says a number, and then you're gonna click the number and put 0.25. Okay, so that if you look at it, Let's use the view cube. It's hovering over in the air. Okay. This is something called the connector that connects the top part to the bottom part of the caboose. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna click this shape, click the shift key, click this big red shape, and click align. And we're gonna align it. Click this top black dot. And you could use your click away from the shape and then click onto the connector shape. And what you could do is use your arrow keys on your keyboard and use the left or the right key to move it up or move it down. Let's look at it differently. I'm trying to like move it. There we go. Sometimes you have to like play with the view cube, move it around to get the view that you want. All right, so I have one connector. How I lined it up to where I like it. And then I'm going to click on that connector, click copy and paste. And what I'm going to do is use the arrow keys on my keyboard and move it away from the other shape. But before I do anything with it, what I'm going to do is click on this shape, click the shift key on my keyboard. So I have this connector and this red shape all highlighted with the blue highlight, and then I'm going to group it together. And what I'm going to do is click this shape, click the shift key on my keyboard, click the other shape, and what I'm going to do is click the align key, and I'm going to click this black dot bottom right. So now it looks very much lined up correctly. And then I'm going to click away. I'm going to click this connector again and click the big red shape. Click the shift key on your keyboard. Make sure to click the connector and everything should be highlighted in blue. And then you're going to click group. And now I'm going to move this polygon shape down to where it's like it's into the red shape. So you have your top half connected to your bottom half. Let's look at it at a different angle. So you can kind of tell that they're into each other. There we go. And what we're going to do is create a box around everything. Make sure everything is selected. Then group it together. Okay, I have my caboose. I could also change the color of my caboose if I want to. I could change it red. I could change it pink. I could change it to blue if I want to. Just throwing that out there. So we have a big chunk of our caboose. We just need one more thing for it. And we need a rod to go through it so that we can connect it. But before we even do that, let's like make it smaller. So let's look at it from another angle. And instead of these dimensions, we're going to type in 0.728. hit enter, that kind of squashed it. And we're going to click this dimension instead of 1. It's going to be 0.572. And we're going to change this instead of 1. We're going to make it thinner. Let's make it about 0.5. I know this isn't really following the instructions, but that's okay. This Ferris wheel does not need to be perfect. All right, let's look at it from the top. And then we're going to get the cylinder. We're going to change this dimension to where it's 0.05. 0.05. So I made it thinner. And I want it to be at the top. Let's change how we look at this. Okay. And what I want to do, right now it's at 1. I'm going to change this dimension to 1.016. So I made it slightly bigger. And I'm going to click away, make sure that, and then I'm going to click on the caboose, hit the shift key on the keyboard, click the cylinder, and then click align. And I'm going to click this black dot right here. That is away from the work plane. And then I'm going to click this black dot. And that should be good to go. This center black dot. And let's click the top. Let's see how it's looking. And it's looking good. It's looking good. So let's click a box. Put a box around the caboose that we've created. And then click group. Everything's grouped together. We have officially made our little caboose. We only need to make one. And what we're going to do is we're going to change our view. And we're going to move this to the side. And then we're going to click this dim light bulb right here to hide it. Okay, so we have both the wheel and the caboose. We kind of have to like put them together in order to create our stand, because it's kind of hard to make the stand without seeing the other components. And so what we're gonna do, and I also wanted to just show you the hide feature because it helps a lot of times when you're 3D modeling to hide something so you can work on something else, especially when you're 3D modeling multiple components. So click the light bulb right here, the show all, and you'll see everything that you made. Okay. We have the components needed. We have our two wheels. Let's change one of these wheels. Let's click this one, and instead of red, let's click orange. And instead of this being red, let's click green so that we could tell them apart a little bit. And what I want to do is grab the orange wheel, move it to the center roughly, and then grab this wheel, move it down, And what I'm gonna do is move it away from the work plane. So I'm gonna click the black cone that when I hover over it turns red. And I'm gonna pull it up. And I'm gonna go over here to this number. Let's zoom out. And we're gonna change that number to 1.016. And then hit enter. So now it's away from the work plane. So we're gonna click this one and then click the shift key on the keyboard and then click align. And we're gonna align the two wheels. So click the center black dot and then the center black dot. Let's click them again. Click the first wheel and click the orange wheel. Click the shift key, click both of them. Click align, make sure everything is lined up together. Use the view cube to see if they're lined up. Let's click the top and let's click flat. Okay, they're perfectly lined up. So make sure to use the flat view because sometimes 3D view kind of messes up your eyesight. Okay, now that we have that, lined up, we're gonna make sure to create a box around both of them. And you're gonna kind of want to group them together for now. It'll change in color. We're gonna look at it from a corner view and we're gonna click on that half circle right here. And what I want to do is change the half circle. Nope, click it. Change the half circle to where let's control Z, control Z. Zoom out. So click the half circle with the arrows, then click here and type in 90. So I wanted it upright. And what I want you to do is click the D key on the keyboard. So the letter D. And that pulls your shape up. Okay? Alrighty then. And what we're gonna do is click the black cone shape and push it up. Go to this number right here and click 1. So I kind of want it in the air a little bit. All right, let's get to the roof. Not the roof, but there's a roof shape that we're gonna use. And it's in basic shapes. It's called roof. And we're gonna click it and put it right here. So let's change our view a little bit. So we have one green roof. And what we're gonna do is change the dimensions a little bit. So instead of 1 and 1, it's gonna be 2 right here. And it's gonna be 0.5 right here. And we're gonna increase the thickness by approximately, let's change this number to 3.625. Okay, let's look at it. It's looking good. It's looking good. My apologies. I was supposed to make this not 3.625. I was supposed to make it 5 inches. 5 inches tall, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to basic shapes, go to box, put a box down, and we're gonna change the dimensions of that box to where it is 2 inches in length. So we're gonna change that. We're gonna change it to, or not 2 inches in length, but 2 inches in thickness. So click here, click there, click 2, and we're gonna change the width and the length to 0.5. So 0.5 and 0.5. Alrighty then. And what we're gonna do, wait, were we supposed to change it? Yes. Be sure to always look at your model, look at it from different angles. I stress that a lot because we tend not to do this. So now we're gonna click on the little black cone and pull it up, and we're gonna pull it up 3.625 up, away from the work plane. Okay, and we're gonna move this whole box on top of our green roof shape. Let's look at it from this perspective. Make sure it covers it. Make sure it covers it. Move out. And what we're going to do is click the green shape, click the shift key on the keyboard, click the box hole shape, and group them together. Oh no. Let's undo. Let's make this a little bit thicker. Let's make it 0.6. Because I really wanted to cover it. There we go. And then click the green shape, click shift, click the box shape, and then click group. It should be cut off right now, like that. Okay? So this is the overall look that I want. So now what I'm gonna do is copy and paste this green shape. So I have another shape. I'm gonna move this to the side, and I am going to make it a little bit smaller. So instead of I'm going to leave it the same dimension here. I'm just going to change the 2 to 1.5. And then I'm going to change the height to 2.719. Then hit enter. So it's a little bit smaller, and we're going to change it. Instead of a green shape, I'm going to make it into a hole shape. And then I want to move it and put it kind of into the green shape. And what we're going to use is the align tool to do that. So click the green shape, click the shift key on your keyboard, click the hole shape, and then click align. And then you're going to click the center align. So this center black dot, and then this center black dot. So it's inside each other. Like well. But what I want to do is like raise the center hole a little bit up. So click away, click the center piece, and we're gonna pull it up a little bit. So grab the black cone, and I want it pulled up at least 0.25 away from the work plane. Okay. And now we're gonna click the green shape and then click the hole shape, and we're gonna group them together. So you have one stand good to go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna click it, click copy, and paste. So we have the front stand, whoops, and we have the back stand. So congratulations, we got the stands now. Okay? Now what we're gonna do, and let's look at it from a different angle, is click one stand and click the other stand. Click this center black dot, because I want them lined up well, so that when we move it, we can move it correctly. So click one of the stands, and you're gonna not nudge it. Oh. You're gonna move it back negative 1.25. Oh, I moved it to the right. I wanted to move it to the back. So let's undo and undo. So let's try this again. So push it back, and I think it's this number right here. Let's try that one. Negative 1.25. Wrong number. Sorry. Undo, undo. You're, like I said before, that's your favorite command. Maybe I need to look at it from a different angle. And let's move it back. Okay, so I think it's this number that you want to change. And you want to change it to negative 1.25. There we go. Yes, I think that's how we want to do it. Then click this shape, click shift, and click the other shape, and then click align. And we're gonna align it, this center black dot located on the left hand side, and we want it aligned this way. Click this shape and then click this shape. And I think I need to separate them a little bit more. I'm going to use the arrow key on my keyboard to separate them more. Because I want there to be enough space to put the wheels in between. So click this shape and hit the shift key and group them together. And we're gonna move this. And I kind of don't want there to be any, for the green stands to go into the wheel. So let's move them again. Move them away. Click on group. And when it comes to 3D modeling, there'll be a lot of times where you do make a lot of mistakes and you're just gonna have to like quickly correct them. All right, so I moved it away a little bit more, then click shift and then click group. And then move on. Let's see if it works now. I think we still might need to move them away from each other, but it's good enough for now. Okay. So we're gonna click away, click the green stands, click the shift, and then click align. And what I want to do is align it perfectly center of each other. And perfectly center. So the center black dot and the center black dot. And now let's look at it. It's looking good, Hollywood. It looks good enough. Okay. What we're gonna add is the pin. The pin that goes into the stand, into the wheel. So we're gonna click work plane first, and then click onto the green side of the stand, and then click cylinder and click onto the work plane. And I love using work planes because it makes it easier to put models in different parts of your design, where you don't have to, like, you know, if you don't use work plane, then you're gonna have to figure out how to get that cylinder right there. So you're gonna have to move it up, and then you're gonna have to rotate it, like. So this requires like a lot more work, but I just like using the work plane because it's faster. Okay, so you have your cylinder shape. It's on one of the green sides. We're just gonna change the dimensions a little bit. So I'm gonna change this to 0.14. So I'm gonna put the work plane back on there. And what that helps me does is it helps me change the dimensions easier. So instead of 1, I'm gonna put 0.25. And this to 0.25. So I made it thinner, and now I'm gonna make it longer. And I'm gonna make it, I think I made it 3 inches in thickness. So instead of 1, so click that center white box, I'm gonna put 3. So click the center white box, click this number, put 3.0. So I made it longer. And now we're gonna align it to the stand and to the other shapes. So the shape is already selected. I'm gonna hit the shift key, hit the Ferris wheel, and hit the stand. Click the stand. So I mean, click the Ferris wheel, click the stands, and then click align. And I'm gonna click this center align. And that's it. So Now that it's aligned, I'm gonna move this shape approximately negative 1.5, I believe. Negative 1.5. I might need to, yeah, I need to move it further. So I moved it, and I'm gonna move it further. So, and further. So I believe the number that I use might be 2.5. So negative 2.5. That looks good. Okay? Let's put the work plane. Let's reset it. So click on the work plane and click here. And you're back. And now we have the pin inserted into the wheel and the stand. We are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long trip, but all we need to do is add our little cabooses to the wheel. So let's click the wheels. Let's click it, select it, make sure it's highlighted, then select your pin that you've created and your green sands. So everything should be selected and highlighted, and then you go to the group. And you click group and everything's grouped together. It should be one solid color. Let's get the cabooses going. So let's click on the caboose. Let's move it closer, And we're gonna rotate it. So let's zoom in. And we're gonna click the little, that little half shape with the arrows. And then you're gonna rotate it 90 degrees. So it's up now. And we're gonna have to rotate it one more time. So click the half arrows. And let's rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, so we've rotated this little caboose. Now we're gonna kind of put it on our Ferris wheel. We might, now that I look at my caboose, we might have to make a change, but it's okay, because Tinkercad is no match for us. So I'm gonna put a work plane. Click one of the work planes and then click the front of the wheel. And what I'm gonna do is click on this and click D. So D helps you align it automatically to a work plane. Just giving that. So when I say click D, I mean the D on your keyboard. So the letter D. Now I'm gonna move it up. Gonna move it right there. Zoom in if I have to, or click fit view. And I got it there. I had one student, you don't need to put a caboose on each spoke. So I'm just gonna put one here, skip it, put one here, skip it, so there's not too many cabooses. Okay? Just to make life simple. And remember, the assignment doesn't require you to make it exactly like how I made it. Okay, so I have one here. I'm gonna click the front, click flat view, I believe, to help me see. Oh no, what happened? All right, I guess I got exited out and I didn't mean to, but we're back because Tinkercad saves everything. Okay, we're gonna click front view And then we're going to click flat view to make life easier. So I have one caboose there, and we're going to go over here to snap grid and change it to give us a little bit more freedom. So I changed it to 1/64 inch. There we go. And I'm going to click duplicate, and I'm going to move that one. If you want to, like, we can add it to every spoke, but you don't have to. So I'm just going to add it to this next spoke, and then click duplicate. And I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to click duplicate. And sometimes duplicate just, it repeats your last action. And duplicate. So it kind of helps you place them where you need to place them. Oh no, I accidentally modified it. All I have to do is click undo. And make sure to grab the model. When we're in a rush, we accidentally resize the model. I was gonna put it right here. And duplicate. Oh no. Okay. It duplicated one on top of the other. It's okay. So I have where I want them to be. Now I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. Let's look at it from a corner. And I'm going to click work plane and put it at the bottom. And then I'm going to click work plane again and click it on this part of the wheel, the back, the in between the wheel. And what I'm going to do is click on one caboose, click the D on the keyboard, and it drops it back. So click it, click D, 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 click it, click D. And check it out. Looking good. Looks so well done. I'm so proud of everyone. Can't wait to see everyone's like Ferris wheel. And we're gonna click the work plane and reset the work plane. Like I said, the assignment does not need for you to go in detail perfectly how I have it. Just enough to where I can tell you have a Ferris wheel, or you don't have to even do a Ferris wheel. You could do your own thing. But we have knocked this out. So there's something I do want to specify. So this model, I wouldn't use a traditional 3D printer to print it. I would use a resin printer because it has so many parts to it and it's so detailed that a traditional 3D printer cannot really recreate it. So something that I would use would be an SLA printer, which is called resin printing. So I hope you check that out. And this is something that the Idea Studio has. And it uses liquid to create all these exceptional models. So thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see what you create.